So tonight, I'm very proud to present the Geoff Kors Leadership Award to Congresswoman Maxine Waters. Welcome, Maxine Waters!
Wow. What an introduction. I'm so honored and feel so blessed to accept this award and to be here with all of you tonight. But let me start by thanking Geoff Kors for that lovely introduction and for all of his hard work over the years fighting for equality. A big round of applause for him. I also would like to thank Equality California Executive Director Rich Zieber and all of the staff at Equality California for dedicating your time and careers to the idea that no one is equal until we are all equal. And so I'm delighted to be here with all of you. And I want the California state legislatures to know how proud I am of them. Give them a big round of applause. And of course, I know that Raul Ruiz is here somewhere this evening. He was up here earlier. He is an absolute joy in the Congress of the United States. I want you to know that we depend on him as a doctor to talk with us about what is going on, not only with the ACA, but what we need to do to save it, to fight for it. Give him a big round of applause. And someone told me that Mark Takano was here. I did not see him, but give Mark Takano a big round of applause. He's doing a fabulous job with leadership on our LGBTQ questions and issues in the Congress of the United States. I love him. I love working with him, and I'm proud of him. Another round of applause. Come on. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I am so pleased that you are giving me the opportunity here this evening to reclaim my time. Geoff talked about that moment that I had with Treasury Secretary Mnuchin. You haven't seen anything yet until I get Ben Carson before me. And Betsy DeVos, and Wilbur Ross. I have never seen so many incompetent, non-caring folks in a cabinet of any president before in my entire life and career. And we've got to get rid of all of them. Some people say to me, you have been talking about impeachment, but if you get rid of Trump, you still got Prince to deal with. And I said, we'll get rid of him next. Ladies and gentlemen, I have sat here this evening and I've listened to wonderful leaders talk about the work of the LGBTQ community and talk about the accomplishments. And you should be extremely proud. You have fought a tremendous battle. You have changed America. Do you realize what you have done? Give yourselves a round of applause. I know that there's still work to be done, but you know, I'm convinced that we can win. There are evenings when I go to bed and I feel quite disgusted in Washington, D.C., faced with what we're faced with now. But one good night's sleep, and I'm ready to go at it again the next day. And that's the spirit of the LGBT community. Jenny Fote and I have known each other. She said 40 years, I think it's 50. She just don't want to tell you how old we are. But I want you to know she has given her life to service. She has given her life in the fight for equal rights for women. We have marched back in the day when they said we were just bra burners, that we hated men, when they said that we were out to destroy America. But whenever they tried to intimidate us, we took Bella Abzug and put them right in front of them. And Bella not only told them off, but she gave us confidence. And we were able to march and to fight and to talk about equal pay for women and to talk about the right to control our bodies. And so I am so pleased that we have so many millennials now who are activated and inspired and taking up these fights and these arguments in ways that we started some time ago. I'm convinced with a lot of these young people now on the battlefield for us, we're going to win on all of these issues. It was mentioned earlier that I called for impeachment of the President of the United States of America. Not only did I call for it, I'm going to work every day until it gets done. This country deserves better. Countries around the world are looking at us and said, what happened in America? How could it be that Donald Trump is the President of the United States of America? And I think many of you wake up every morning saying the same thing. How did it happen? How could it be? And I want to say something that's going to be a little bit hard on your ears, but he's the most deplorable, the most despicable human being I've ever met in my life. I've never seen anything like it. I've never experienced anything like him, and I am determined to make sure that this Congress moves aggressively toward impeachment. I know folks are saying, what's happening with the Intelligence Committee in the House? They don't seem to be doing very well. Well, we do have problems because Nunes, who is the chair of that committee, is a lackey for the President of the United States. And when the President lied and said that Obama had wiretapped him, remember Nunes running up in the middle of the night to try to help prove it, but don't worry, he's got to go also. The Senate has been a little bit better, but still not as good as they could or should be. But I am so hopeful. I am so hopeful that our special counsel is going to do the job. If you take a look at what Mueller is doing, you see that every day he is connecting the dots. He's finding out more and more. And even though Trump thought the dossier was off the table for discussion, Mueller just met with the one who wrote the dossier, and I think we're going to learn a lot more about this president and why he is so compromised and why he cannot criticize Putin and why he stands up for the Kremlin and he's in bed with the oligarchs and he thinks that he's going to get away with it, but Mueller is on his case, and I want you to know that. I am so offended by this president. During his campaign, he talked about grabbing women by their private parts. He talked about his colleagues in a fashion that I'd never heard before. He called Rubio Little Rubio. He called Hillary Crooked Hillary. And I was at the last debate in Missouri, in St. Louis, when he breathed down her neck, where he tried to intimidate her, where he literally walked into her space and would not get out of her way. And I want to tell you that not only was I offended by him in the campaign, but I knew that I would never attend an inauguration that brought him into Washington, D.C., nor the joint session. I determined a long time ago that I would have nothing to do with him, that I would not try and pretend that somehow he was going to become presidential. That will never happen. And so, as we watch what this president is doing, we cannot help but be concerned about the danger that he is presenting to all of us and to this nation. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about North Korea. You know what's going on with that every day, and the bluffing that is going on, and the way that he is goading, and the way that he's threatening, and that's not presidential, and that will only get us into confrontation and war. And I believe that we all have to stand up, speak out, tweet, go on Facebook, do everything that you possibly can to discourage that kind of talk and that kind of bluffing by this President of the United States of America. But more than that, many of you have paid a terrible price for freedom, for being able to live a decent quality of life. Many of you have believed in this democracy, despite the fact that democracy didn't treat you too well. Many of you woke up every morning not knowing what was going to happen to you in the workplace. And many of you have had to go to bed at night with tears in your eyes because of the lack of equality. I get all of that. And so knowing what Americans have sacrificed, whether you are gay or whether you're a woman, whether you're black, whether you're Asian, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Jew, I understand so very well how many people have fought for this democracy. And to have a president of the United States of America who will not even agree and understand that our DNC was hacked into, that many of our electoral systems in our states were compromised, and will not say and not agree with 17 of our intelligence agencies that this has happened, will not criticize Putin, and is undermining our democracy that we fight so hard for. He must be impeached. He cannot stay in this office. Some people think that there is some special law that you have to have in order to impeach a president. Impeachment is left up to the Congress of the United States of America. Impeachment is decided by the Congress of the United States of America. And I and others believe there has been collusion. And I think that our special counsel is going to be able to unveil that. But when I look at this president and all of his allies, and I'm talking about Manafort, oh, he's going to prison. He's going to prison. Or Wilbur Ross, or Roger Stone, all of them are allies that are around this president, and I believe in the interest of oil and drilling into the Arctic. And I want you to know this president came into office saying that he was going to lift those sanctions so that the drilling could take place. And of course, he was going to undo everything that President Obama did when he penalized Russia for their invasion into Crimea. And so they know what they're doing. They know why they are allied. They know it's all about the money, and they know that many of them have been compromised. And so I think that you should really understand that they've already done enough, and he's already done enough to be impeached. And yes, collusion, but also obstruction of justice. You saw him in the White House when he gave classified information to the Russians, not only to the ambassador, but to the foreign affairs guy that was there with him. And so whether it's obstruction of justice, or whether it's collusion, or whether it is about the fact that he's in violation of the emoluments law, being able to lease the hotel space that he's got in Washington and earn money from that, that is against our Constitution. And so we have way more than enough to impeach him. And so despite the fact, again, that just a day or two ago, he basically is now making it impossible for women to have contraceptives through the ACA and Obamacare, just as he absolutely tried in this appeal to that constituency of his to say that transgenders have no place in the United States Armed Services. Patriotic individuals who are willing to put their lives on the line, he would undermine them and say that they have no place in the armed services. Well, enough is enough. I'm not only taking back my time, we're all going to take back our time. We're going to reclaim our time. This is our country. This is our Constitution. This is our democracy. And we're not going to give it over to a bully and to someone who has lacking in moral character. And so, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for honoring me here this evening. Thank you for recognizing the work that I am attempting to do. And some people are worried and they think, oh, you're out there by yourself. No, I'm not. We have Republicans who are whispering to each other. But that whisper is going to become a loud noise very soon. We have some Democrats who say it's a little bit too soon. It's never too soon for justice and equality. And so I thank you. I honor you and the work that you're doing. Let's keep up the fight. Let's get in it. Let's be about the struggle. Let's understand that we all owe it to ourselves to make sure that America lives up to its promise. Thank you very much.